Hello, Gary here from Pathways Homestead. It's cold outside. This is Kansas, and it's cold and windy, so we're going to make some hot chocolate to warm us up. And we're going to be using this pan. I don't know what size this is, but this is a pan. It's a red pan. That's what we're going to use today. And we're going to use honey. This is local Kansas honey. We're going to use some fresh squeezed freedom juice. This is milk. It's technically skimmed. It's not as skimmed you would buy at the store. But our Jersey milk, we pulled some of the cream off the top, and it's technically skimmed. We're going to use cinnamon, ground cinnamon. And we're going to use cocoa powder to make hot chocolate today. So the first thing I do, did you notice I don't have any measuring tools? I've got a ladle. I usually don't measure my hot chocolate. I just I've fiddled with it enough that I kind of know what I like. So I put honey in here, enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Like that. Don't have any idea how much that is, but I know in this pan I gotta cover the bottom with a fairly thick coating. And then I'm going to put a little cinnamon on it, about like that. And then put a little cocoa powder on it, about like that. Precise measurement, folks. That's the detail. You got to stick with the details here. I put a little really hot water in to help dissolve my cocoa powder and get my honey kind of all going. Just about that much hot water. And kind of stir it up. You can do this without the hot water I have. It's just a little harder to get everything to combine. This helps it combine. I kind of combine all this before I pour the milk in, the cold milk. That really helps. Kind of we're making a syrup basically here. Looks like that's all combined pretty good. I go ahead and put the heat on. About a medium-low heat. Okay, you know I don't measure my ingredients. I also don't know the settings on my stove. I want my flame just low enough that there's not any yellow tips on it. That's where I set my heat. Or just high enough that there's not any yellow tips on it. And then I put some milk in here. And that's about where I usually put it on this pan. And now we're going to stir it up. If you don't use the hot water at this point, it'll just be covered in little flecks of cocoa powder, which is alright. You just got to keep heating and keep stirring. But I'm feeling the bottom of the pan and making sure I'm getting all that syrup stirred in off the bottom of the pan. all that honey. As it starts to heat, it will combine good with the milk. One thing about it, before I started using the hot water, when I'd have the cocoa powder just flecked all around in there, I'd just keep stirring, and I knew when the cocoa powder dissolved pretty good that I was pretty warm. That was a sign that I had the temperature up. So we'll just keep stirring this right now until we get the temperature up where we want it. And we got a technical way of testing that too, and I'll show you. You guys are watching the highly scientific process of making hot chocolate. I see the little bits of cocoa powder here and there. There's a few. I kind of mash them against the side. And if you don't get your heat too hot, you can stir and then let it set for just a bit and then stir again. You don't want to scorch your milk. That's kind of the low heat, and keep it stirring. That kind of helps with that. Still cool.
Turn it off and come back when it's...
Okay. Alright, so we've been heating it for a few minutes here, and I can feel the heat coming off of the hot chocolate, and something, it's kind of hard to see sometimes if you're stirring a lot. The surface tension changes on milk when it gets warm, and I'm seeing that the surface is kind of shimmery a little bit, and it's just kind of moving a little different. So this is our real technical way of seeing if hot chocolate is warm enough. Put a little bit in a cup and taste it. Yeah, so there's our hot chocolate. It's warm enough. We're going to cup some up and have it to drink this morning on a cool morning. you guys, this is a simple hot chocolate recipe. It's just kind of by feel. We use honey because it doesn't, it's just, we feel like it's better for us than sugar. Like the flavor of it better. And you can use sugar. I have no idea the measurements on that. But also we put cinnamon in our hot chocolate. That's the flavor we enjoy. Sometimes Cindy does this. She'll put a little bit of vanilla in it instead of cinnamon. Vanilla and milk and honey and cocoa powder, and that makes a really nice hot chocolate. Sometimes instead of cinnamon I'll put 1 or 2 drops of peppermint oil. It just takes 1 or 2 drops. But that is how we make our hot chocolate out of our fresh milk. You don't have to use raw milk to do this. You can use store-bought milk and it works great, whole or skimmed, either one. You're putting a lot into it with the honey and the cocoa powder and such, so it can use any kind of milk. And if you don't drink dairy, I think you could probably use an almond milk or something for this and do the same thing. And so that's our hot chocolate recipe that we really like here on Pathways Homestead. Our cow's named Freedom, so we often call this Freedom in a Cup. And so we're going to enjoy some of this morning. Thank you guys for watching. We want you to remember that God made you special and He loves you very much. See you later.